All right, I finally figured out how to turn the camera on. I'm sorry about that, Gerald.
Oh, you are all good. All good. I understand.
Technology is not my strongest suit. I first admit that.
Well, I appreciate you taking a few moments out of your time to
Oh,
interview with me.
absolutely. We just got done with session, so it's perfect timing.
Oh, cool. Well, I'll get right into it. So I think I'm actually one of your constituents. I'm over in 43203 over by Easton.
No, I had
43230.
Easton, but then
Okay.
I lost Easton. I have Minerva Park and everything in Northland, but
Okay.
I don't have Easton any longer.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I lose out on that.
That's unfortunate. Well, I appreciate
Yeah.
you taking some time out. So, I am the founder of Ohio Cannabis Report, and we're an independent news media outlet covering all things Ohio cannabis. We're on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Substack. And so we've been following everything that's been happening in the cannabis space pretty much since about 6 years ago when we got medical. And so I
Right.
wanted to just talk about issue two versus SB 56. And then first, can you just let the people of Ohio know and our followers know who you are and what this issue has to do with you and how you feel about it?
Well, yeah, I'm State Senator Bill DeMora. I represent the 25th Senate District, which is parts of Franklin County, including Northland, Upper Arlington, Grandview, OSU campus, the Hilltop, Prairie Township, and then Minerva Park, and a couple other townships. Listen, the bill that was passed by the people overwhelmingly was wanted one set of things, whether it was the number of plants or the potency of what could be sold to how it's advertised to how it's shared, how it's smoked, etc.
Mhm.
And what the legislature did was basically ignore the will of the people and decide what they wanted to do on their own, and basically gutted what people voted for to serve their own self interest. That's what basically happened. And uh, I, of course, I was the leader, quote unquote, I'm the marijuana expert for the Senate Democrats and probably the whole Senate because really nobody else in our chamber understands the issues like I did. I had to educate myself when I was elected,
Right.
and I sat through 72 or 73 testimonies in committee and read about all I could read and was supportive of the ballot issue and certainly opposed what my colleagues did when they passed 156 because again it's not what people voted for. It's
Right.
completely different than what people voted for, and I think it's a sham about what happened.
Right. And with this being like a bipartisan issue, right, we have people on both sides. But how do you think that, as I would say, your constituents or constituents in the state of Ohio could better engage with the policymakers? Because I know we did lobby days and things like that, but we didn't see a lot of people from the other side coming. Is there any way that you can get to educating the other side on some of these issues, you think?
Well, I mean, in my chamber, I'm going to speak. I mean, there were some House Republicans that voted against it that were in favor of what people voted for.
Right.
In my chamber, though, unfortunately, everything comes from the top down,
Mm-hmm.
and my Republican colleagues were told that this is what they're gonna do, this is what we're gonna vote on, and you don't have to. You basically have no input into it.
Right.
Um, let's be honest: the Senate President, the Speaker of the House, and the Governor all hate marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
They hate any form of cannabis. They hate the fact that ordinary Ohioans have access to it, and so they did everything they could to weaken what the people voted for because of their own personal hatred of marijuana. And unfortunately, here in the Senate, especially, no member of the Republican caucus, and of course they're in a supermajority because of illegal gerrymandering. None of them are going to go outside of what the leadership said, and they voted for this bad piece of legislation, which harms. I mean, it doesn't harm the industry per se, but it harms people's rights.
Right.
And the money that being raised now from marijuana taxes is not going to where people voted for it to go.
Right.
It's going all to the general revenue fund so that the Republican supermajority can spend it as they want to basically, basically give tax cuts to the rich and fund charter schools and do things that weren't meant to be with this money because people wanted the money to go to 988 suicide hotline and the
Right.
suicide prevention and to community community growers, the whole level 3 licenses, which the Republicans completely wiped out. They took it out of what the people voted for. So again, they also made it the people voted for money going to expunging records, but they made it actually. They're going to make what they did is they allowed for expunging of people before, but they put in the bill to basically make it now a crime if you transport marijuana in anything but its original container.
Right.
What's an original container for a home grower? The original container is a baggie, as we all know. They made it now. These are penalties. These are violations of law. If you smoke a joint outside, except if it's your own house, you now violated the law.
Right.
If you share a joint with your friend anywhere other than one of the two of your private residences, you violated the law. Again, they're making it so that there are going to be more criminal charges brought up because of this. And the bill was, the original language that was passed by the voters was to eliminate the criminality of marijuana.
For sure.
So again, it's a harmful bill, but that's what happens in the legislature when districts are drawn unfairly and you have a supermajority of one party.
Got you. Yeah, and that was something you definitely hit off a few of the questions, because social equity, that was obviously social equity of the small craft licenses. When you talk about cannabis, and obviously we have a limited license industry, it didn't even allow, home growers or craft growers to really get into the game.
Right.
And since we're on that, are you familiar with what the Attorney General just did with the lawsuit coming down on the 9 MSOs?
Then I don't know about 9. I don't know what 9 MSOs, but I know that the Attorney General approved the people to go out and get signatures for a ballot issue to repeal parts of the bill.
Yes.
And so now they're collecting signatures, and from what I understand, they've hired a company that does signature gathering to collect all these signatures. Well, they have to collect. I think they have another month, barely a month, to do it now. So before the bill takes effect. So I know that they're out there doing that.
Yes.
If there's something else that the Attorney General did, then I don't know about it.
Yes, so it just came out that the Attorney General filed a lawsuit against 9 multi-state operators in the Ohio cannabis industry for basically creating a cartel.
Okay, I did see that then. I read that briefly, yes. So I don't know how that affects. Again, the big guys come in and the little guys get screwed. That's what always happens.
Yeah.
And I've been to several marijuana growing facilities in Ohio that are owned by Ohioans.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure what is going on with these out-of-state folks. But again, this bill was created. People wanted it to give Ohioans the ability to make money, to get into the market. The craft growers, as you said, the craft growers, I don't want to use the word cult, but there's a following of these craft growers because everybody grows something a little differently, and people that consume marijuana know what they like, and they want the ability to buy what they like from the person they like to buy it from. And again, as you said, they completely got rid of the level 3 licenses, which were the small growers.
Right.
Because the letters D, E, and I in Ohio General Assembly are the worst 3 letters in the alphabet. Because God forbid the people that were affected by these archaic laws in the past that felt the consequences and the enforcement of all this stuff should benefit from what we now do. Of course, that's common sense, but not in the minds of my Republican colleagues.
Yes, that's very understandable. Now, when it comes to gerrymandering, obviously that affects all of our lawmaking and policies. We're here in the city, but then you have rural areas, you have suburban areas. What are some ways that our constituents and people can get more involved to understand what's going on at the state level, to be able to feel like they have power or a say? Because I know a lot of people say, well, we voted for this and then went against it, so my vote doesn't matter. So why do we even vote, right? So how do you think, as a legislator, we can get people on the ground more educated and aware of how policy works, just to be more informed?
Yeah, people don't realize that state government affects their lives daily more than the federal government, more than local government. Everything from what classes students have to take, how much money each school district gets, what the age is for you to drive all these things are all done by the state legislature. So unfortunately, most people have no idea where their state legislator is. They have no idea that there's 33 Senate districts and 99 House districts. So there's 3 House districts in each Senate district. They don't know any of this. I mean, they might know who the U.S. senators are. They might know, especially here in Columbus, that Joyce Beatty is their member of Congress if they live in that part of the county, but they don't know who the state legislators are. And unfortunately, the decisions we make affect their daily lives, again, more than any other branch of government and type of government. So what they need to do is become more educated about who their state legislators are, because especially when it comes to marijuana, the federal government, it's still illegal for the federal government. It's the state legislators here that, again, took something the voters passed overwhelmingly, 57.5 to 40 to 43, basically 42.6 or something. And they took something that was overwhelmingly passed and they gutted it all because for their own self-interest. And they need to be held accountable for that. I mean, the issue 2 passed in 30 of the 33 Senate districts. And I said that on my floor speech, saying that all but 3 of you, the majority of voters in your district, passed this initiated statute, and now you're going in the face of all those constituents to pass this bill, which is not what they voted for. But until there are consequences, until people come out and realize that because of gerrymandering, that these districts are all safe, that even if Jesus Christ ran as a Democrat in some of these districts, he couldn't win, or she couldn't win. My kids usually think, no matter what gender Jesus Christ happens to be. And that's bad because, again, the Republicans listen to, I mean, what they're told to do, they do. And there's very rarely is there deviation in the Republican caucus about something. So, Democrats, we argue all the time. And there's some things I don't vote with my party on. Some things I vote against what my party wants me to do. But that's because I'm not beholden to anybody but my constituents. But most of my Republican colleagues are beholden to the powers that be in the Republican Party and their leadership. And they do things. And I know several of my Republican colleagues who didn't want to vote for the bill, but they told they had to. So that's a problem. And until people realize that state government affects their lives and the people they vote for affects their outcomes, again, rural Ohioans voted for this marijuana law. And most of the rural Republican legislators voted against it. So they need to be held accountable, and they need to realize that if they care about certain issues, that voting Republican all the time is not in the best interest. And that's one way to learn about it. And obviously, the districts we have are going to be set through the 2032 election. But in 2032, the district will change. And, people need to elect the right folks in order to make sure those districts do get changed in 2031 and 2032.
Got you. Yeah. And that seems to be a big issue, just, in terms of education and obviously, again, resources going to certain communities, which impacts our education levels. So
yes,
thank you for touching on that. And you pretty much summed everything up in that. So what are some things that Ohioans could do in the meantime? Obviously, we have the referendum. So find out where you can sign, register to vote. Are there any other ways, like do our politics, like if they were to call their legislator, or is there anything that they could do now that SB 56 is?
No, there's nothing they can do. The law is the law, and unless this ballot issue gets enough signatures to repeal it, and if that happens, obviously they need to come out and vote to repeal what was passed. But that's it. There's nothing they can do because it's law. The governor signed it. Now, what they can do is go, and I don't know why they're collecting signatures to repeal this part of the law and not additionally collecting signatures to put a constitutional amendment on the ballot to do what they wanted to do with the initiated statute. Because a constitutional amendment, if passed, the legislature can't touch it.
Gotcha.
It's in the Constitution. And what the Republicans have done by spitting in the face of the voters for the marijuana law is basically say, listen, forget you're doing initiated statutes. Why would you spend $20 million, $30 million to pass something that we're going to screw around with? So now might as well put in the Constitution. It's the same amount of money to do a ballot issue for the Constitution as to do an initiated statute. So I'm actually shocked that these people that want to repeal the law aren't also collecting signatures to put a constitutional amendment on the ballot, because if you're getting one signature, you might as well get two.
Get two.
And I don't know, who's advising them I don't know who's
Yeah, there's
leading.
a
I don't know
couple of
if it'll lead
groups.
the, yeah, these groups who obviously are not politically savvy enough, because even if they vote to repeal this law, even if we vote on it, all the legislature has to do is change one sentence and vote on it again. And then,
Right.
it's a different law when you
Mhm.
change one sentence. And guess what? They have to do this thing all over
All
again.
over again.
So I think I just think it's not well thought out that they're doing this without also getting a constitutional amendment, because they're going to waste their money, time, energy, and effort, and nothing is going to really change, because all we do is change one sentence of the bill and vote on it, and then it's back to square one.
Right. Yeah, I think, I mean, I am connected to some of the groups who are collecting signatures, and I believe some of them are like hemp dispensaries, or a couple of the folks are they have hemp beverages, so a couple of
Right,
breweries and stuff. So I think a
right.
lot of their focus is on kind of that small business, not necessarily obviously the constitutional amendment, which would help the collective. So
Right.
that is something I can definitely bring to
And
some folks.
yeah, and also the problem is that the federal government made hemp illegal.
Illegal, right?
And if the federal government doesn't change it, no matter what they do, I mean, listen, I am a supporter of hemp beverages. I mean, I represent Ohio State University. I mean, my constituents love these things.
Right.
And but the trouble is the federal government made them illegal. And
Mm-hmm.
I wanted them to be legal in Ohio until the federal law took effect, but that's not the case. But again, once the federal law takes place, they're wasting their money if the federal law has not changed. They're
Mm-hmm.
getting something repealed so they can have it for 2 or 3 months,
Right.
and then federal law makes it all illegal again.
Gotcha.
So I just don't understand their motivation for spending all this money when it's actually not going to help them for more than a few months, even if it gets passed.
Mm.
So again, I'm dumbfounded by who's ever running this show, not the show, but who's ever running this ballot
Yeah,
repealing, but because I think it's a waste of their resources, time, energy, and effort.
for
Because
sure.
again, it's not going to do anything in the long run if the federal law stays on the books.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they get a hold of this interview so they can listen to you say that. All right. So just in
Well,
some closing,
yeah.
if you could change three things about Ohio's cannabis laws tomorrow, what would they be?
Well, there's a lot more than three things. I would obviously not allow any money to go to the state general revenue fund. I'd make it go to where the people want it to go, to help suicide prevention, for um, licensing, for craft brewer, all the stuff the money was going to go to in the bill, in the
Right.
initiated statute. Excuse me.
Yeah. Social equity
I
funds.
would eliminate all these new criminal penalties for people that smoke marijuana outdoors. And let's be honest here. Columbus police have told me if someone's walking down High Street in the short north smoking a joint, they're not going to do a damn thing about it.
Right.
They're not going to arrest anybody. If someone's in Goodale Park during Comfest in July smoking a joint, they're not going to do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is if you're in a rural small community and you happen to be non-white and you're smoking a joint, they're going to throw the book at you because now they can. So it's going to be unfair. It's not going to be enforced the same way.
Right.
Because in the big
It
cities
allows
just
for
don't have time.
discrimination again, right?
It's going to be a little more discrimination. It's going to have more people get arrested and have criminal records for something that voters clearly said they should be legal to do. So I would get rid of all those criminal penalties. And
The
again, I would
fines, right?
also,
I mean,
what?
fines to somebody that's poor or impoverished for weed. Now you're just stacking on the book.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And so I would get rid of all the laws, all the stuff that makes it now more criminal to do certain things. And then I guess I would put the law back. I would put the law back to allow craft growers and let people that were affected by this the ability to now earn a living by growing it and selling it.
Awesome. I appreciate that. And last question, where can Ohioans follow your work and stay involved in this fight and follow your legislation?
If they email my office, DeMora at ohiosenate.gov, we can add them to our newsletter list. I'm on social media. I don't know what my handles are because I don't do it because I'm too old and non-technology, but I have a campaign webpage. I have a state webpage. I have whatever Twitter is called now. I have Instagram.
Okay.
They can follow me on those. I think my name, Bill DeMora, is somewhere included in all that stuff.
We could
So if
probably
they look up
search
Bill
you.
DeMora, they'll probably find it. But again, I'm here to help, and I've always been an advocate because that's what the people want. And
Right.
again, who am I to say as elected official, my district passed it overwhelmingly. Who am I to say, forget you voters, you don't know what you're talking about, this or that. So I'm going to completely ignore your wishes and do something against what you wanted. I think that's just utter stupidity and just shows the arrogance of my colleagues.
Right. And since you are covering Ohio State, what are your thoughts on this whole Wexner thing?
Oh, well, I just came out. I don't know if you heard the latest. A member of the faculty of the Salmon P. Chase MAGA Institute, I call it, tackled a journalist yesterday, unprovoked, and I came out strongly. And that faculty member has been suspended.
Oh wow!
Already.
Okay.
And I will tell you, I'm working on some stuff with some people, but I have told Ohio State that I want Wexner's name removed from every building on the campus, and I will come out with more of that later in a press conference in a few weeks. But it's time, with all the new revelations that came out about the doctor at the Epstein's payroll and all the stuff now that they've redacted Wexler's name several times, but some of the members of Congress got to see it all. It's time, and I will be leading the charge for that in a matter of weeks.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate your work, Senator DeMora. Thank you for taking time out of your
thank you for having me
to
here
break
today.
This down. Ohio,
and you need to change that Ohio University stuff to put Ohio State on that and change your colors there.
Well, this is what brought me to Ohio. I'm a Bobcat. I got a football scholarship, so I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't.
I didn't get to see my tie, my Ohio State tie, and my lapel pin, and my.
That's why I rock it though, because everybody Ohio State around here, so I got to rock the original. We were the first.
I understand. My brother went to OU. I understand.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you, Senator DeMora. Right, Gerald. You have a great rest of your day.
Thank you too. Have a good one.
All right. Appreciate you. Bye-bye. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to Senator DeMora for an amazing interview. There you have it, folks. The people have to do the work. You heard it directly from the source. There's nothing that we can do to change SB 56, but go out and vote or get these signatures for the petition, for the referendum. But like he said, we should be focused on the constitutional amendment, because even if we get the signatures to get the thing on the ballot, it'll only be good for a few months anyway. So that's something that, a lot of us have to chew on. Also, for those people that are in rural Ohio, you have to keep your politicians accountable. If you are in rural Ohio and you voted for issue 2 and you voted for cannabis legalization, adult use, you have to realize your politicians are the one, like he said, I think he said 32 out of the 33 voted for legalization. So again, thanks to Senator DeMora, thanks to his legislative aide, Ashley, for making that happen. And again, we appreciate you and our followers at Ohio Cannabis Report. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and continue to follow us for more updates and news on the Ohio cannabis landscape. Again, this platform is for informational and entertainment purposes only. So just a short disclaimer, please go to your lawyers, go to your politicians, go to your doctors. We are just here to disseminate the information and message. So thank you guys for all the love and support. Peace.